25, actually.
The CIA, Mr. President, prefers the lab leak theory to explain COVID's origins now. I was curious to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, you have a good man there, a very good man, and John has just got approved, as you know. John Ratcliffe also got approved, and I'd rather have you ask him that question. He knows everything about it.
Go back to Greenland.
Have you given any thought to the future of the airbase at Diego Garcia, which is, is part of the Chagos Islands, which Britain is returning to the Mauritius Islands? There are concerns that could open it up to spying by Iran or China. Do you have?
It hasn't been number one on my list, I'll be honest with you. That was not number one.
During your campaign, you didn't talk about Canada, about the Panama Canal. You mentioned today expansion.
Canada's been treating us very unfairly on trade. They've taken advantage of us for years. We're not going to allow that to happen. I love Canada. I have so many friends up in Canada. And they like us, and they like me. But Canada's been taking advantage of the United States for years. And we're not going to let that happen. And without our subsidy, Canada, doesn't exist, really. Canada is totally reliant on us, therefore they should be a state. Canada, we lose $250 billion a year in Canada. I could stop that in one day, and if I stopped that, Canada wouldn't exist as a state, as a country.
You mentioned
if we're gonna have to give that kind of subsidy, and we're not even talking about tariffs yet, but that'll happen on February 1st. But if we're going to lose $250 billion for the sake of supporting a country, it's not fair to us. And they do about almost 90% of their business with the United States, whereas with us it's the opposite. It's relatively small. So I don't want to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on supporting a country unless that country is a state. And if it is a state, the people of Canada would pay a much lower tax. Their taxes would be cut in half. They would have no military problems. They'd be much more secure in every way. And I think it's a great thing for Canada. And I view it as, honestly, a country that should be a state. And they'll get much better treatment, much better care, and much lower taxes. And they'll be much more secure. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.